Hello and welcome to Let's H. I'm Hushcho. Please scroll down and click on the read more, check out some of the links in the blurb, become a patron on Patreon for more quality content. Today we have the episode Just Rewards in my continuing coverage of the 5th season of Angel. This is the second episode of the 5th season. It's a fairly straightforward episode, which is good because those tend to be among the better episodes. If you'll remember, I tend to have a problem with them bringing up the fact that being at Wolfram and Hart is kind of a problem when they never deal with these concerns adequately, but in the second episode it's reasonable that they have these concerns. Unfortunately, as the season goes on, it becomes less and less novel and more annoying, because they keep bringing it up and never actually going anywhere with it. Every time they address the fact that maybe it's not the best thing that they're at Wolfram and Hart, something comes up to derail the conversation. This was a fairly Spike-heavy episode, which made it a fairly good episode, and it also had a lot to say. It's nice that Spike is kind of the voice of reason here, and while we did get some background information from Buffy, the flashback from that episode was not that big. So that's good. Spike is great in this episode though, because you really don't know where he's coming from or what he's trying to do. He has some really funny lines. It's great to see him interacting with Harmony, and Harmony of course is also great in this episode. It's especially good to see Harmony and Spike interacting with each other when the last time they had was kind of a long time ago. Spike also has valid points even when he's being facetious or obnoxious. It's just kind of lame how Angel sort of deals with this necromancer guy, and to be quite honest, this necromancer, Ainsley, is a more compelling character than Angel is in this episode. Like, he's a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. I think a lot of that's because of the actor being very good. But this episode illustrates the concerns with Wolfram and Hart and the fact that Spike predicted this. He called this. Knowing nothing about the situation, he was able to guess basically everything that Angel had done and why he had decided that. The dialogue and action are pretty good, and at this point in the season, it's perfectly fine for them to have concerns that are not adequately addressed. Later on, it becomes less and less tolerable and far less acceptable in terms of scriptwriting. It is kind of significant that in this episode, Spike points out at the end, which leads into 2 episodes from now rather than the next episode. Don't know why they keep doing that. But Spike points out that Fred is Science Girl. Some may see this as reductive or insulting, but this is actually how she's treated by everyone. She's Science Girl. We know she's about science, but even the scriptwriters apparently don't know exactly what science. They just figure she can do anything because, science. Overall, it was a pretty good episode, mainly for Spike being in it and Spike being very amusing. Also for Spike taking absolutely no shit from Angel, and Angel pretty much not being able to do anything about him. At this point, a lot of people had some concerns about Angel working with Wolfram and Hart, and for good reasons. These concerns are mirrored in the episode and in the excellent dialogue of the episode and interactions between the characters. In that respect, it does a really good job. Unfortunately, I also kind of feel like Angel's friends and supporting cast are already getting pushed to the background, and they're just not that interesting or sympathetic now that they've totally taken to working at Wolfram and Hart, which seems a bit quick. It almost seems like they only bring up their concerns later to wave off any concerns from the audience that, hey, didn't they kind of adjust to this awfully quickly? It's also worth noting that the complete lack of ever adequately addressing these concerns also just adds more to that. Like, they're just asking the question, but they don't actually want to deal with it. They don't actually ever want to answer it, because it's like asking the question makes them feel like maybe they're not so evil. I would have actually liked to see this guy become a recurring villain, this Ainsley guy, because he was a neat character and very interesting. It's unfortunate that they never really bring him back in any other episode, because he could have added a lot to it and it was a genuinely fantastic actor. But this is a good episode overall, even if it's not a great episode, for so many different reasons. Good solid villain, good solid performance, fantastic performance by Spike, great interactions with Angel, great interactions with Harmony, and even though the rest of the supporting cast are not that fantastic, at least they're not awful as they are in some other episodes. So, check this one out on your watch through of Season 5 if you want to see some of the better ones, and take a glimpse at what might have been. I'm Hushcho, and I'll be back next time with another episode of Angel Season 5. You're welcome. Bye.